welcome to our studio, Mattie. Mattie is the chairwoman of a film festival, prestigious film festival called Poppy Jasper International Film Festival. As you may know, U-Channel production feature documentary Spell Me Out was nominated by this prestigious film festival, and I don't know the result. Maybe Mattie can tell me. We got anything?
Yeah, you got best documentary for China Day. Yeah, I am the director of the Poppy Jasper International Film Festival. This was my third year being in person. We did a virtual festival in 2021, and we did a virtual China Day in 2021, and so this was our first time doing a in-person China Day. And Shan did an amazing job finding films from China and directed by Chinese directors. And your film was just absolutely amazing. And we have about 30 screeners. 30 people who screen the films, and every single one of them loved your film, Spell It Out. It's one of those films that stay with you and change the way you think about yourself, because sometimes we think, oh, I'm a little overweight, or I don't look as pretty, or, I don't have this, I haven't made enough money, or something like that, and you see someone like Lori who is going through what she's going through, and you stop worrying about those things, and you're thankful. And so thank you for making that film. Thank you for bringing it to us.
No problem.
It's a absolutely wonderful, wonderful film, and I hope everyone sees it.
Yeah, we'll try our best to promote that, and through the beautiful awards and the reputation we got, right? And we also have this studio too. I heard that yourself, a filmmaker, you own a film production company. Tell me, how did you get involved into this film festival then? So
I think it's been about 14 years we've had this production company, and we do documentaries also. We do lots of corporate videos, music videos, and we've done a few short films and quite a few feature films. When I met the people who ran the film festival, because I worked as a volunteer for Poppy Jasper for probably 6 years before they asked me to be the director, and we were making promo videos for the film festival, and I always wanted to be the director. Like I don't know what it is. I for the past 25 years, I have worked with nonprofit organizations, mostly promoting the arts in our communities, helped create the Gilroy Arts Alliance. I was on the Arts and Culture Commission for the City of Gilroy, and I've been on the Downtown Business Association for a long time. So I've been very involved in nonprofits, and I've been very involved in creating events, and I just felt like I was ready for something like this. And when they asked me to become director of this festival, I felt like the planets aligned, and that everything I had learned throughout my whole life culminated to this moment, and I just knew what I needed to do.
So Poppy Jasper International Film Festival locates in Gilroy, so that's the base?
So it's in Morgan Hill, Gilroy, Hollister, and San Juan Bautista.
Yeah.
They are, it's a region that I grew up in. I grew up in Gilroy, but I had cousins in Morgan Hill and Hollister.
But they all still belong to Santa Clara County, though, right?
They're Santa Clara and San Benito counties. So Hollister and San Juan Bautista are in San Benito County, and Gilroy and Morgan Hill are in Santa Clara County. And the festival was born in Morgan Hill, and with the idea that it would always expand. And when I took over the festival, I made that happen, and I always had the vision of adding Hollister and San Juan Bautista. I feel like, for us, Morgan Hill is probably 45,000 people, Gilroy's 60, Hollister is about 45, and then San Juan Bautista is 1,200 or something.
San Juan Bautista is the place where the Mission is, right?
It's the Mission is, and also where Vertigo was filmed, and East of Eden.
Yes. Hitchcock, famous thriller.
And then The Wild Ones was filmed in Hollister. So there's a lot of film history in San Benito County, and so it's been fun bringing the festival there. It's also, I've been working with the visitors bureaus because my vision for the festival was to stay in the downtowns of all these communities so that we can build economic vitality through the festival and benefit the small businesses that surround the festival.
How the name originate? What does it mean?
Yeah, Poppy Jasper is a gemstone that's only found in Morgan Hill. And the founders of the festival always thought of the festival as being in more cities than just Morgan Hill. So they called it Poppy Jasper instead of the Morgan Hill Film Festival.
It's a unique mineral.
It's actually a very expensive rock because it's only found in Morgan Hill, so it's a gem.
Wow.
And it's got multiple colors on it, but you can find rocks that have these red dots on them that look like poppies. That's why it's called Poppy Jasper.
I originally thought it's because of the plant poppy, California poppy. Oh, so it's a gem.
Yeah.
So you should put those little expensive gem on top of the trophy. If
we've done that before, but they're not cheap. So
just kidding.
We thought about that, and I think the pandemic has been hard on us, especially financially, but with this festival this year, I think we're building our momentum back, and we're going to start really, we're going to continue that momentum, and hopefully we don't see any more pandemics.
Yeah, that's for sure. Nobody wants that happening again, right? And stop.
Yes, stop it.
So that region you live in, Gilroy and Morgan Hill and St. Martin and St. Bonita, Juan Bautista, for lots of us, it seems like a great area of our agriculture, like garlic, maybe wine, right?
Yes, lots of wine.
And others, maybe wheat, I don't know.
Yes.
But why do you think a film festival matters in that kind of region?
Well, and that's been the trick. That's been the tricky part of convincing these communities that the film festival is important to them. And, this year we had 150 filmmakers from 10 countries in 8 states and all over California come. That's a good thing for these communities. This film festival has brought that to these communities. And so when I think they see that, they'll start to appreciate it. But also that film is a viable career choice. It's not just this. It's not about becoming the next director of Batman. You and I are both working in the film industry. That's our careers. I have a film production company that I make a living running, and I work with local businesses and tell their story. So that's why I have 7 educational programs that I do throughout the year, and I work with youth, and I work with millennials, and I work with adults and seniors and veterans, and then we have a special program where we work with the most underserved youth in our communities. So those educational programs show that there's something for everyone.
Yes.
In this film industry, you don't have to be young. You can be, and you can have a midlife crisis and start a film production
as long
company.
As you have a story to tell. We don't care how old are you.
Well, and there's stories all over the place. People are filming their 2-year-old's birthday party and their weddings, and so there's plenty of work out there for filmmakers.
Yeah.
It might not be the next director of Batman, but it's a viable career choice, and so that's what I'm promoting. I'm promoting change, like changing the way we see each other through film by programming a diverse, inclusive, women-empowered film festival, but also teaching, educating, and also building economic vitality. And we've been doing that, working with all the visitors bureaus in Morgan Hill, Gilroy, and San Juan Bautista, and Hollister. And it's creating a destination for people because this whole region, it's like 30 miles.
Yeah, it's pretty broad.
It's broad, but it's not that broad. And bringing people in, and the filmmakers absolutely loved the festival, and they went to all 4 cities, and they couldn't get enough of it. Like, they just loved it. They loved the different the dynamics of each community and what they had to offer. Over and over again, they talked about just how wonderful the people in all the communities were, how kind, how generous. And so I think that's the beauty of the festival. It's not just about bringing good films. It's about economic vitality. It's about creating the impression that film is a viable career choice. And then it's also changing the way we see each other.
Yeah, that's good to say. I think essentially filmmaking is just about sharing stories, right? It's just like old timers, they have bonfire at night. What they do, right? They have to exchange some ideas through stories. And these things, these activities bring people together, which I think that's why your film festival, in this one hand, is called international, because there's all over the world filmmakers want to share their story to this certain group of people, but also they have to either come here and to see the actual people and to taste the actual food here, right? Because I know that region has lots of great cuisine too. Maybe they can see the mission and see the lifestyle these people possess. That's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's wonderful. One of the countries that, we've all, been taught to fear is Iran, and yet we get some of the most beautiful films from Iran. Last year we got 125 films from Iran, and they cover every topic, love and coming out as a gay man or a gay woman, just what we all go through. It's like the same stories we're telling, they're telling. And to hear from that country.
It's a relatable human experience.
Right. And when you see that, it just changes the way you see someone walking down the street. You don't see this Muslim that you're supposed to be scared of. You see somebody with a kind face. We had a film called Hopless Hans, and it was from Germany. It was directed by a woman, two brothers who one was very wealthy and one who was not, and it's a period piece, and when Czechoslovakia and Germany were not getting along, and their grandmother died who lived in Czechoslovakia, and one of them had to go and bury her, and neither wanted to go. But the poor brother went, and there's a series of comedic events, but he met some friends, and he fell in love. And he called his brother, and he said, I don't want to come home. I found my home. I made some great friends. I fell in love. I want to stay here. This is my home. And his brother said, are you crazy? You're in Czechoslovakia. You're a German. He goes, no, I'm a human being.
First.
And I thought, well, that's what we need to be. If we could look at each other as human beings, we could still judge each other in a sense of, am I safe with you? Are you the right person that I should trust? But if we stop looking at each other's color, all those crazy judgments that we have, and just look at each other as human, I think we would be better off.
Yeah, tell me more about how you started the China Day.
China Day? When growing up, I always wanted to be a director, but I did not see myself in the film industry. I didn't see women as directors in the film industry. I saw women as costumers and maybe set decorators or hair and makeup.
Production designer.
Yeah. And that was hard growing up. And I lived in LA for 12 years, and I was basically told women aren't smart enough to figure out the camera. We weren't smart enough to figure out, these things and I was just sort of pushed down. And then I started looking at the numbers, and not only are women poorly represented in the film industry, but minorities. And when I took this festival on, I thought because I'm a volunteer, I volunteer my time, and if I'm going to do this, I need a purpose. I need to make a change. And so I knew I wanted to have a couple of days that we focused on different countries that were misrepresented and underrepresented. And China and Mexico were the two countries that I wanted to do first. And I was lucky enough to meet Shan Whittle, who had the same vision as I did. And we created China Day with the hopes that we could celebrate not just the film, but the art and music of that country. And that was really important to me, and I'm really proud of it.
How many Asian Americans live in the region? Do you have that data?
Oh man, I don't know, but
do you meet them on the street, or they probably barely seeing there?
In Gilroy?
Yeah.
That area? No, it's growing.
Yeah, it's growing.
I mean, growing up, I actually was very lucky because Gilroy was very small, but it was pretty diverse, and we didn't have the profiles that people had. My Asian friends were not and then also my people that were African American, they were all very smart, but they were all did well in sports, and they broke all the molds and then
stereotypes.
All those stereotypes did not exist when I grew up. But when I moved to LA, there were so many stereotypes. It's I was confused. I don't understand why you think that way. I was very lucky to grow up with people where we were all equal. And so that was different for me to understand, well, why are you talking about that person like that, But Gilroy has, Gilroy at one time, when there was only 3,000 people living in Gilroy, 1,000 were Chinese. And so,
really?
Yes. So our community has gone through a lot of changes, but
they used to be farmers, maybe, right?
They were farmers,
workers.
And then they also there was a Chinatown in downtown Gilroy.
I don't know that. I should visit.
It's not there anymore, but it was, because there were so many Chinese there, and it's why it's so important to me, and it's where I started. I was lucky enough that a friend of mine took me to Nigeria. It was a long way. But it was a film festival called the Zuma Film Festival, and they were looking for advice. And my friend Chike goes, well, you need to ask Mattie for advice, because she's taking a festival, because Poppy Jasper was literally dying when I got it. I think the year before, only 300 people had attended. And I changed the logo, I changed the website, I just restructured it and added Gilroy, and with the knowing that I was going to add Hollister and Juan Bautista, and I was so impressed with Zuma Film Festival in Nigeria, because they had German Day, they had Spain, and they had USA. I was on the USA panel, and what was great was they celebrated those three countries, and they talked about the film industry in all those three countries. And I was so impressed by that I knew I wanted to do that with the festival.
Years ago, U Channel, I produced a documentary in Morgan Hill too. It's called One Step Closer. It's about a horse ranch in Morgan Hill.
Oh.
That horse ranch was redesigned as a therapeutic purpose of a horse riding place. So actually, I was why I brought up this is like we actually don't live far away from each other that much.
No.
So that kind of story is universal for both Bay Arean or the South Bay people. We just don't have a platform to showcase and to share those things. We share it on our platform. But I mean, if with your help, with the more people to people set up, it could be interesting, right? It could pull people together, like catering, other performers, art shows, right?
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Well, and I think, for me, and when I got the film festival, I came to San Jose and I talked to some of my friends who are filmmakers up here, and I said, I realized that I can't depend on just my community to come to the festival. I need to pull filmmakers from outside the community, and I also talked to them about how can we work together to create a film hub where we can pull our resources together and partner together and bring filmmakers together so that we could be a strong film hub, just like Los Angeles. I mean, we have all the technology here. We have
Silicon Valley.
We have Silicon Valley. I mean, we could do it, and they all were on board, and we all been working together. So to me, when you partner together and you work together, you build a stronger community, film community, which is super important. So I would love to partner with you and work with you on cross promoting and building that relationship. That's a great idea.
How's the sponsorship? Who's the donor base you have now?
Well, during the pandemic, it was really hard to go back to people.
It's hard for everybody.
It was really, really hard. We kind of lost the Garlic Festival. It is coming back. It's doing some work, but what you have to understand is and I don't know too much about Hollister and San Juan Bautista yet, but Gilroy and Morgan Hill, both those cities have over, I would say, 200 nonprofit organizations. So when you're talking about looking for sponsors, it's hard because there's a lot of competition. The Garlic Festival used to help with that because it would help, support these nonprofits. Now we're all kind of on our own. And so it's harder. But so the sponsorships are there. It's starting to come back. I think for me, it's just, this is why I'm so excited about being here in Santa Clara with you, is because I want to broaden our audience. I want to broaden our sponsorship. And part of the reason it was important to add all the communities together was that's a great branding opportunity for a sponsor, is you're not just in Morgan Hill, you're in all these communities. So that's 150,000 people. It's a 150,000 person reach, instead of just, Gilroy or Morgan Hill. And so for me, it's going to be interesting to see who's interested in that branding opportunity. And so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think the mission you envision is probably use film as a medium, right? Like a glue, and put just draw those things together.
Yeah.
I think even for Bay Area Chinese immigrants, which now it's a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, new immigrants. They have their family here. They have their kids. They need some different experience, right? Life experiences here. I know in the Gilroy and the Morgan Hill area, that's actually lots of things you can do there, right? There's either farm, horseback riding, and
we have Gilroy Gardens.
Yeah.
We have the Pinnacles are in Hollister. You have the Mission in San Juan Bautista. Morgan Hill has some of the best restaurants in the region, and there's lots of biking and hiking, and there's a lake. Like we actually Gilroy, Morgan Hill, Hollister, and San Juan Bautista was considered Paradise Valley, and it really is, because it is this valley that is surrounded by mountains, tons of wineries. I think we have over 60 or 70 wineries in the area, and lots of breweries. It's a beautiful area, and so when we bring filmmakers to the festival, especially in April when everything is green and beautiful, they're impressed.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenge nowadays is like young people even older people tends to watch videos or films online, right? Mm-hmm. Those streaming platform, they enjoy that. But as filmmakers, we know how important for people sitting together and watching something together, because we can feel each other when you laugh, when you sigh, when you weep, when you sob. That's pretty powerful fellowship rituals experience. So I still value the offline get together of the film festival.
Well, and I think for us, what I noticed this year was the audience appreciated the filmmakers being in the room with them.
That's for sure.
And then getting up and talking about the film, that's really powerful. That's not something you experience on Netflix. You can see the making of a film. But there's just something wonderful, and we actually had a few people that went to every single block of films. Like they just couldn't get enough, and they just loved it. Especially this year, because we had so many filmmakers. It was really, really fun.
We have like you mentioned, our feature documentary, Spell Me Out. How's that screening goes? Because at that time I was in Florida.
I know.
Yeah, so it's a pity. Tell me more about that night.
Well, that was wonderful too, because people really appreciate it. Like I said, we have screeners for the film festival, and my mom, who's 82 years old, was one of the screeners. I really liked having someone who was elderly watch the films, and she just really appreciated it, and the audience really appreciated it. It was something that we hadn't seen before. You don't see a film like that, and it was so honest, and to have such a strong subject, a person who is just so strong and so just not giving up.
Yeah, her name is Lori.
Lori, yeah.
For the audience, you don't know, this woman actually lives in Bay Area too. So her story is quite unique.
Well, and it was, not many people are comfortable with you seeing them as vulnerable as that.
Yeah, she's very brave.
Not just as somebody not being able to eat on their own or speak, but the difficult the family dynamic that comes with that. They were so open about that, and so vulnerable that, and it really did help tell the story, which I felt was, I don't know how you got that, but what a great a get, because that really, that's why that film just stays with you, and you cannot let it go. Like you cannot forget it, because that they were all so honest. Yeah. The husband and the guy, the caretaker, that jealousy that happened between them, and just the whole dynamic was just like, it's a brilliant film and incredibly well done. And I've made documentaries before, and I know how hard that must have been.
Yeah,
and I'm curious, meticulous. Like how much footage did you get? How many hours of footage did you get?
I think it's around 20 hours.
Oh my God.
So it's kind of heck of a lot of editing.
Yes. Well, and it's hard. The hardest part about a documentary is letting certain things go.
Yes.
Because, you get attached to certain conversations and you get attached to certain storylines. But you would end up with a 6-hour film if you didn't edit. So you did a brilliant job taking it down to what it is so that we could really enjoy it.
Thank you. It's just like, because when we start editing, we probably still don't fully understand what we are trying to tell because we still don't know yet. And by exploring, by just digging those material, you find something deeper or truer, right? Then you try to present that.
Well, and she leaves you with so much hope, of her talking and her getting better. And, I was always thinking, well, when do you know when to stop interviewing her? Because maybe something's going to change or, something like that, because she's so brave and determined.
Yeah, for her, the situation probably cannot get really like to recover to a perfect condition. That's not possible. But I think, like she said, in the end, she felt she became a better person through this suffering. That's quite eye-opening, right? How can people say something like that? I couldn't. I don't think I could.
Well, yeah, and most people would like just do me in,
Yeah.
because that would be a hard, because she's so dependent.
Sure.
And then the strength of the husband, who, because the cost of her care is, I don't know. It's such a powerful film, and had to be a labor of love.
Yeah, I think we established a really close relationship since then, and I hope everything will get better for her. Yeah, and I think both of us really want is this film get seen by as many as possible people, because she really want to her story told and understood, and maybe become something people feel helpful or inspiring, right? Alleviate other people from general suffering, because we all suffer, right?
Well, everything seems petty after watching that film.
You feel that?
Yeah, because what she's going through is way harder than anything I've ever been through, and so it's we do need to, you can only feel what you feel, but at the same time, when you see how hard things could be, you appreciate what you do have.
Yeah. So, Mattie, what do you do beside this film festival? Do you care to talk? No?
Yeah, no. I mean, the festival, I eat, sleep, and drink it. I'm actually feeling like, when I got the festival, I was 50 years old. I'm going to be 56 this year. And I just feel like my life changed and for the better. And I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else. Even though I don't get paid for it, I still love it. It goes along with my film production company and making films and things like that. But it's kind of what my whole life right now is all about films, film festivals, and filmmaking is my life. I also do garden. I have a garden, but that
hopefully, if anything, our interests align, right? And people can realize or see this value of sitting together and enjoy films, especially films that are made here, about them, about the people here. Because one of our mission is just tell the story of this generation, this new group of people who came to a land they never know before. They start a new life here. So who's going to tell our stories?
Right.
Nobody except us, right? So that's what we are trying to do. But now we are part of this land, so probably we can show our story to other community, and hopefully we can know other communities by watching their stories. So I think the thing, the festival you are trying to better is vital to this community.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's part of, same thing with women and other minorities, is that we need to tell our own stories. We've had our stories told by, the white guys, and that's fine. They did a good job, but I think it's time for us to tell our own stories and have a platform where we can do that. I think film festivals is that platform. And then it'll grow and change. I think as these, I think film festivals have changed the industry a lot, because the power of film festivals is stronger than it's ever been before, because we're reaching a lot more people, especially hybrid festivals and virtual festivals. We're reaching a lot more people, and we're showing the studios and the television industry that this is what people want.
Yeah, I think even like you said, there's a lot of competitions, right? Especially through those like film freeway, those portal. So lots of film festival maybe not that great, but the good thing is it kind of localized this thing, right? And it may not be a bad thing. I still think how to evaluate this festival is a good or not. I think it's not depends on the film festival itself. It actually depends on the people who live in the area, right? Do they want to have something transcendent to above their life, or do they have some goodwill? Do they want to share? Right? If we can develop the people in our community to see this, it would be I think it would be a great thing.
I do too. I saw that this year when we did China Day at Ding Ding TV, is the audience saw themselves and saw themselves lifted up, and saw these great Chinese filmmakers making stories about them. And that's a powerful thing. It's very, very powerful, and it's very important, because you start walking taller and you start feeling better about yourself, and you start engaging in life, and it's important.
So is there anything else or other way to support this, your festival or our festival, let's say?
Following us on our social media platforms, we're on all of them, but also donating. You can donate on our website. We are an all volunteer nonprofit organization, but we want to start paying people for what they're doing. It's so important, and it's an art form. I know my film production company, my partner Nils Myers, we've done probably over $100,000 in in-kind donations, creating videos, filming things, and we do it because we believe in the festival. But there comes a point where we need to start paying people for doing the job that they do, marketing, PR, all those things. If we can have a better festival if we could raise more money. And so, donating to the festival is a huge, huge help really big help. And, you go to PJIFF.org and there's a little donate button. You just, super easy.
Yeah, so you heard, okay? And then we thank Mattie for joining us today. I'm so glad to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, see you then. Bye.
Okay.